This is the story of how I pretended to be poor and discovered a truth that changed me forever.
My name is Aira, and for most of my life, I believed family love was unconditional.
I was wrong. When I was a little girl, I tried very hard to be perfect. Perfect grades, perfect behavior, perfect smiles. Because in my family, love wasn't given freely. It had to be earned. When I brought home good results, my parents smiled proudly. When I won competitions, they showed me off to relatives. But when I failed, the house felt colder. No shouting, no anger, just silence. And silence hurts more than any punishment. I grew up believing that my worth depended on my success. As I grew older, the expectations grew heavier. Be successful. Be independent. Don't embarrass us. I smiled on the outside, but inside, I was terrified of failing. I never told my family how lonely I felt, because emotions were considered weakness, so I learned to suffer quietly. After college, I moved out and started my own life. What my family didn't know was that I started working online. Freelance projects, late nights, constant rejections. Some days I earned nothing. Some nights I cried alone. But I kept going. At 23, my work finally paid off. I built a small online business. It wasn't famous. It wasn't flashy. But it paid my bills. And then some. For the first time in my life, I felt secure. Yet I told no one. Not because I was ashamed, but because I was scared. Scared money would change how they treated me. Scared love would suddenly appear. For the wrong reason. So I made a decision. I would pretend to be struggling, just for a while, just to see who truly cared. I stopped buying nice clothes. I avoided talking about my work. When relatives asked what I did, I said, I'm still trying to figure things out. Their smiles faded. Their voices changed. Suddenly, I wasn't interesting anymore. At family dinners, I became invisible. They talked about successful cousins, rich in-laws, perfect marriages. When I spoke, people checked their phones. My aunt once said, at this age, girls should be settled. Another relative added, some people are just unlucky. They laughed. I smiled, but inside, something broke. One evening, my mother sat beside me. Her face was filled with disappointment. You need to do better, she said. People are starting to ask questions. I wanted to scream. Ask questions about what? My worth? But I stayed quiet. Because I was still hoping they would choose me over money. Then came the moment that changed everything. I told my family I had lost my job, that my savings were gone, that I couldn't afford rent. I asked for help. Silence filled the room. My father avoided my eyes. My mother sighed. My brother said, I can't help right now. No one asked if I was okay. No one hugged me. No one said, we'll figure it out. That night, I cried harder than I ever had before. Lying alone in bed, I realized something devastating. If I truly failed, I would be alone, and that truth hurt. More than being poor ever could. Weeks later, I made another decision. I invited everyone to a family dinner, a nice restaurant. Their eyes widened when they saw the place. Confusion filled the table. Then I stood up. My hands were shaking, but my voice was calm. I need to tell you something, I said. I was never poor. I showed them everything. My work, my income, my journey. Their reactions changed instantly. Smiles returned. Pride appeared. Suddenly, they were proud of me again. My mother cried. My father apologized. They said they didn't realize how strong I was. But something inside me felt numb. Because now I knew their love arrived only after success did. Money didn't change them. It revealed them. I forgave them. Not because they earned it, but because I needed peace. I didn't cut them off, but I stopped seeking validation. I stopped explaining my choices. I stopped proving my worth. And for the first time, I felt free. If you're struggling right now, please hear me. Your value is not measured by your bank balance. Anyone who leaves you at your lowest point doesn't deserve your highest version. Today, I'm still successful. But more importantly, I'm emotionally rich. And that is the greatest wealth I will ever have.